Mayan king Pacal the Great. Was he an Anunnaki god that never left our Earth? One of the most important discoveries about the ancient Mayan civilization is the mysterious Mayan astronaut engraved on the sarcophagus lid found in the tomb of Pacal the Great in the ancient Mayan city of Palenque, located in the Sierra Madre de Chiapas, Mexico. The mysterious figure drawn on the lid is King Pacal, whose tomb was found in the Temple of the Inscriptions in 1952. The enigmatic tomb of Mayan King Pacal has attracted interest of ancient astronaut theorists like Zachariah and Eric von Daniken, who suggested that the carved sarcophagus lid found in his tomb depicts, of course, an ancient astronaut. He is driving, flying, he's at the controls of some kind of a craft. On the lid, as in the tomb, Pacal is positioned in an intermediary space surrounded by glyphs and symbols that run along the edge of the lid, representing important components of Mayan cosmology. He was only 12 years old when he got the throne of Palenque in 615 AD and ruled successfully until his death at the age of 80. He is said to be the seventh ruler at such an early age. He built his modest-sized Mayan city and turned it into the advanced urban place of Mesoamerica. According to mainstream historians, sarcophagus tells the story of King Pacal's death and descent into the underworld. Alternatively, Eric von Daniken noted in his book Chariots of the Gods that the ruler is shown sitting inside some spaceship. He proposed that Palenque was one of the ancient sites that hints at an alien presence on Earth. On the basis of his observations, ancient astronaut theorists state that King Pacal may have been part of the race of alien ancient astronauts that built civilizations on Earth. Pacal the Great was buried in the Temple of the Inscriptions, and the sarcophagus where his body was placed was surrounded by crypts of 9 meters in length, with ceilings of 7 meters in height. In 1949, Mexican archaeologist Alberto Ruiz Lulier entered it. He discovered numerous skeletons of victims sacrificed during the burial of Pacal the Great. He then visited the crypt, which, according to his account, seemed to be dug in the ice. A kind of a cave whose walls and ceilings are so smooth that they seem to have been sanded. It was also reminiscent of an abandoned chapel, the dome of which is draped with stalactites, while stalagmites, thick as the drops of wax from candles, rise from the ground. One of the most astonishing things that attracted archaeologists was the jade and obsidian mask made of mosaic, which covered the face of the deceased. However, the greatest enigma of the tomb of Pacal was carvings on his sarcophagus lid, a 5 to 20-ton stone. A man dressed according to Mayan customs appeared to be sitting inside a strange vehicle, and many claim that it is a spacecraft. Now, the other strangeness about King Pacal was his long nose. He even outwardly differs from ordinary people. A high nose cuts his forehead, and he had a narrow face with large eyes. Looking at other ancient figures, Pacal is not the only person with an elevated nasal root. This feature would also be seen in ancient figurines excavated in the Jaina Island, an ancient Mayan burial site of around 20,000 graves. It's possible that the long noses arised from the forehead could be in the DNA of ancient people, or might have belonged to a different human race. Besides ancient civilizations with elongated skulls, elevated nasal roots, unusual teeth, etc., could have belonged to the human race with different DNA, but the question is, when did the DNA change so drastically? Now, today archaeologists have dismantled the ancient Mayan astronaut's thesis, pointing out that the carvings on Pacal the Great sarcophagus lid are only a depiction of the afterlife. There are all the symbolic elements easily identifiable in the image illustrating the journey of the soul of the deceased to the world of the dead. Despite official denials, many still believe that this strange figure, dressed like a Mayan warrior, is an alien whom the men of Palenque encountered and immortalized on stone 2,000 years ago. In his book, The Lost Realms, Zachariah Sitchin demonstrates that, we know him from the Sumerian legends, and Nibiru and the Anunnaki. Zachariah Sitchin demonstrates that similarities exist between the burial sites of pharaohs in ancient Egypt tombs and those observed in King Pacal's tomb. Scholars have also admitted that one cannot avoid an implicit comparison between Pacal's tomb and the crypts of the Egyptian pharaohs, especially the funerary scene symbols depicting the journey to an afterlife. These connections that come out of applying the ancient astronaut hypothesis to King Pacal's tomb and the history of the Mayan civilization in general suggest that King Pacal may have belonged to the Anunnaki that brought civilization to Earth. That means from the planet Nibiru, obviously, according to the Sumerian legends. Now, considering the Sumerian tablets about kings lists, by the time of Pacal's death, the vast majority of Anunnaki had already left Earth. Is it possible Pacal was an Anunnaki that stayed behind, with his sarcophagus depicting his return to the Anunnaki home planet Nibiru? And this is by Vicky Vermehausen Wise. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.